men stare at your breasts? Okay. Does any woman here know why us guys stare at our breasts? Does anyone?
Because you don't have them and you want them.
That is, yeah. If we did, we'd never leave the house.
Exactly.
Right? Took a second of visuals on that one. I'm like, huh, just imagine. Right?
You have a hard time with eye contact.
What's
You
that?
have a hard time with eye contact.
Yeah. You know why the reason is? Do you know what the reason is? It's a sex signal. That's what it is. Think of it as your breast as being a big antenna. It's a sexual antenna. That's what they're there for. And if we didn't have those sexual antennas, then we would be known as the race. You know, somebody would say, be up in heaven or whatever, and be like, hey, what happened to that human race thing? You know, those humans. Oh, they came, they ate, and they died. That's it. Because we wouldn't want to, you know, that's what they're there for. Seriously. They're there, and actually, you can look this up, thousands of years ago, when we were, you know, the primates and we walked on all fours, it used to be the butt, because we used to mount from behind. Some people still do that, but, you know, but that's the way we used to, you know, primary. So it used to be, that's why we actually have all this meat back here. It's not to sit on. We don't need all that. It's because of that. It's because we've, you know, evolved into that. So that's what they tell. So the breast, think of it as like fruit. You know, you go to a grocery store, and women are like, my breast is fruit now. You know, it says toll on there or something. You know? Okay? Some kids. Think of it as like fruit, right? So a man looks at that and he sees these, you know, these nice breasts, and he thinks, wow, she can produce. And this is not consciously what he's thinking, but this is the signal that's going on within him. That's why he can't help but to look, even as with another woman. It's because that's what's instilled into us, so that way we'll reproduce, because that's what our job was, just reproduce, 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 reproduce. If you go back thousands of years ago, you know, we weren't in these monogamous relationships. You know, we didn't have like our, you know, husband, wife, and 3 kids, and you know, that job and all that stuff. I mean, we were in little villages of 50 people. The guys would go out, they would go hunt, throw a spear, they would take off for days, and sometimes they wouldn't even come back. So it'd be less men coming back. So let's say there was 10 men and there was 50 people in the village, 40 women. So they needed to reproduce. Now, if they were monogamous and they were just only wanted to be with one woman, then that village would perish, right? So it's kind of evolved in that. So that's just something to be aware about. So guys, this is not a reason for you to celebrate, okay? But Dan said I can look at breasts. They're like fruit, right? So it's not an excuse to do that. But just to understand, that's the reason why.